He's kind of this independent power broker working with a series of other independent power brokers together who form some kind of supra government above all representative government in the West. That's the clear, so like, what is that?
Yeah. Do you think...
Interesting. Tucker, after taking a minute to think about what's happening with the Epstein files and what it reveals, he says it reveals that we actually don't have a real government and that we have a supra government. Let's listen. Supra sounds like a new
shadow government,
like a Celica, like from Toyota. But no, that's a different Supra. Let's listen.
He knew everybody.
Yeah.
And in every country. And he's weighing in on every event of the moment that he's living in. So like, he's shorting the global financial crisis. He's discussing the fall of Gaddafi in Libya before it happens and trying to figure out how to profit from that.
Totally plugged in.
Like at a level that, as someone who just like covers government, I feel like I know plugged in people. Never met anyone that plugged in.
Yeah.
So what is this? He represents no government. He clearly works for Mossad. He clearly works for CIA. He clearly is in contact with both, and clearly British intelligence. So he's not working for Israel. He's not working for the United States. He's not working for the UK exclusively. He's not working for anybody, really. He's kind of this independent power broker working with a series of other independent power brokers together who form some kind of supra government above all representative government in the West. That's the clear, so like, what is that?
Yeah. Do you think we'll see arrests?
Well, it's been almost 20 years that some of this material has been in the custody of governments. Most of it is still hidden, and there have been no arrests. Instead, there's been a consistent, over decades, effort to shield the people exposed from arrest. So, no, I mean, there may be performative arrests. But the big question is not, was there blackmail? Yes. Was there sex with minors? Of course. Was there some kind of weird religious practice that we would describe as witchcraft? Oh, yeah. But the bigger question is like, what was this? It's clearly an informal governance body over what the rest of us consider the authorities, which is to say governments, nation states.
So that is what's revealing who really runs things. And again, like I told you, when there's a session of Congress, do you really think they're in there doing the bidding of students or the elderly or workers or the sick or citizens in general? They're in there.
Medicaid.
They're in there doing the bidding of the oligarchs, the people who really run the world, just like Donald Trump is doing their bidding. Do you think regular people, when they voted for Donald Trump, they're like, oh, I hope he goes into Venezuela. I hope he chokes off Cuba. I hope he tries to take over Greenland. I hope he bombs Iran.
Greenland.
I hope he keeps funding the Ukraine war and the genocide. And then I hope he bombs. Yeah. You think nobody, even the people today say, yeah, I voted for that. They did not. Because they were running on the exact opposite of that, ending the war in 24 hours, taking the money we spend on war, investing it back in the United States. Trump was talking about cutting the military budget in half, and now he's quadrupling it from half to quadrupled.
Yeah.
So it's
that's my boo, Jimmy.
Right, that's my boo.
That's my quadruple.
Doge was always a lie. Doge was a big scam. It was a distraction. It was to keep the people on the left and the right hating each other. It worked like a charm. And so we do have so this idea that, again, that you would get caught up in this left-right dichotomy is silly. You have to really be a chump to not see through it. And so what happened to a lot of people that I know personally, when Trump got elected, that's when they started paying attention to politics. And so it took 10 years for them to realize, oh my God, the Democrats and the Republicans are playing a game on us. It took 10. Now, finally, people who started to pay attention to politics in 2016, it took 10 years for them to now go, oh, I see. They all work for the same people. They're both screwing us. It doesn't matter who we vote for. What's that?
You've seen these people feel that? I haven't.
Oh, yeah, I have. I have seen people starting to wake up to that. Yeah. Saying that you should withhold your vote from the Democrats. Stuff. I've seen that, and we're going to cover it, in fact, on Wednesday.
I guess Tucker chewing up that remedial shit and spitting into their mouth like a baby bird does work.
Yeah. And let's remember what Charlie Kirk said about not the exact same thing, because he didn't know about the Epstein files, what was in them yet. But he's making a similar point. Let's listen.
Intel agencies were then used inwardly against us. And that has really been the story the last 30 to 40 years, which is our intel services are supposed to gather intelligence and defend the homeland and to keep us domestically safe. But it turns out they're actually more about picking winners and losers in American elections and to thwart the will of popular sovereignty.
So that's why that Dilbert guy, Scott Adams, when he says, I trust the CIA to lie to me to keep me safe, that is such a childish, and I don't want to speak poorly of the dead.
It's the best time.
I liked him. I love his cartoon, but
He's
that
out
was
here to defend himself.
That was
That's
such
the best time to attack.
that was such a ridiculous thing to say. That I trust the CIA to lie to me to keep me safe. I trust Trump to lie to me. I trust the government to lie to me. That is really one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
He knows now, and that rational Jesus and rational heaven is laughing at him.
That's right. So that's why. Because the CIA isn't working on your behalf. Just like the president isn't working on your behalf.
Yeah.
None of them are working on your behalf. Just like Tucker Carlson just said, there's a Supra government. And just like Charlie Kirk knew even before the Epstein files got released, that the intelligence community is making up a sort of Supra government above the government.
The shadow government.
The shadow government. And they actually run things.
Administrative.
Yeah.
The shadow government is who's above the deep state. I've seen people talking about this for years. It's not Supra, it's shadow.
Okay.
Look,
Let me finish what Charlie says.
Who actually runs this government? The first term, we were kind of under this very naive idea that the people run the government. And then we were like, well, it's the lobbyists. But after, I think, 7 or 8 years, and it's taken time, it's the administrative state and the intel agencies.
Yes.
It's this fourth branch of government that the founders never created, they never designed, there was no intent for. And that fourth branch of government is unaccountable, has unknown biographies of people that are running it, and they're there for unlimited amounts of time. There's no term limits. They're not elected, and they're unelected. You have all these unknown amounts of people, and what are they doing? And it's a black box budget. And I believe that all roads lead back to the intel agencies on all this stuff. And so, but Tulsi is now getting under the hood. This revelation of Russiagate is massive. It's huge.
I know.
And God bless her for doing this. Who's running the United States government?
So I felt the same way back then. I felt the same way, like, so now they're going to expose the deep state who manufactured a fake hoax called Russiagate.
Right.
And now they're going to arrest some of those people. And they didn't do any of that.
Wait, how long ago was this? Before Trump had got in?
This was when he was still alive. And so, no, this was before he died. So this is when we thought, this is before we saw the real game being played. Nobody's going to jail for Russiagate. Trump is now the new deep state. He's working for the shadow government. No matter who you vote for, you get John McCain. And I thought naively too, like, Tulsi is going to get in there and blow this thing wide open.
No.
She was making I thought so. But of course, now we know better. Tulsi flipped, and she's also working with the deep state now because she's part of the administration, and the price for admission is to go along with the deep state and the shadow government, and she's going along with it, which is why she flip-flopped on Venezuela, flip-flopped on Cuba, and flip-flopped famously on Gaza.
In fairness to her and to Chris Cuomo and to many of these people, she's probably been trained since a very small child to flip-flop that way because MK Monarch is real, and all the pundits and stars, movie stars, and the mom dommies and the AOCs, and all of them got put through it, and that's why they seem like they were cast in a teen drama. That's why.
So there's a little bit more to this. Let's listen.
Question.
If we do not smash the administrative state and the deep state in the coming 6 to 12 months, then we're actually not going to bring this entire intelligence apparatus to heel. We have to lance the boil because it's gone so out of control. And I can tell you, they are deeply fearful of this movement. They know that we are aware. They know that we are noticing things.
And that's why they killed him. And so now he's out of the way, and they don't have to. So that's one of the reasons why they killed him, because he was too powerful. He could actually mobilize people against them. And so he was just a pain in the ass all the way around for the deep state, the establishment, the shadow government, the people who really run things. He got to be, for Israel, certainly, he became a big pain in the ass. So they had to get rid of him because he wanted to have the government put back into the hands of the people, which is not happening. That is not happening.
If it's any kind of consolation, they probably had planned to kill him the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time. The whole time.
That we're seeing patterns, that we know how powerful the intel agencies have become. And so that's why I think Russiagate really matters, is that it's a way to hold them accountable, to see how
And they're not holding anybody accountable for Russiagate. It's just all over. And now everybody in the FBI are all buddies. They're all one group team again. They're all covering up the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt. They're all covering up the Charlie Kirk assassination. They're all going along with Venezuela, Cuba, Ukraine, Gaza, Iran, Yemen. They're all going along with all of it. So there is no exposure of the deep state because of Russiagate. I feel like a sucker for even hoping that would happen.
I know, and I never had faith, but I still feel like a sucker. I can't believe what I believe right now. I just can't believe it.
I don't know. Should I even read this?
What was that? Yo, Tucker.
People hear super government and think pure conspiracy. But the Epstein case does show one real problem. Different rules for ultra-connected versus everyone else. The question that actually matters, why has so much evidence sat for decades with so little accountability? The question kind of answers itself. It's because everybody's in on it. That's why. Because
they eat kids. They didn't want to say nothing.
Because the people who run the country are in the files. That's why. The people who actually run the world are in the files. That's why. All your heroes are in it.
Hey, I'm in it, but I didn't do nothing, Jimmy. I'm just an important guy.
Tucker just pointed out something people have been uneasy about for years, the sense that there are layers of influence operating far beyond what most citizens ever get to see. You don't need conspiracy theories to notice the pattern. Major scandals involving powerful people often end with no real accountability, no arrests, and no clear answers, like 9/11, like the stock market crash, banking crash of 2008, like the Libyan war, like the torture program, like the Iraq war, like the drone program that killed 90% innocent people, like all that, like COVID, like it's the same thing. The Epstein case is the clearest example, 2 decades of documents, testimony, and reporting, yet the outlook looks nothing like what would happen if the same evidence involved ordinary people. That disconnect isn't just frustrating, it erodes trust in the very institutions meant to uphold justice. When people start asking whether representative government is doing the job it claims to do, they're really asking why transparency seems to stop exactly where power begins. So the real question becomes, what mechanisms would actually force sunlight into places that have resisted it for decades? I'm going to say nothing.
Yeah.
There's
Galactic
nothing.
Federation would have to have a talk with Israel.
There's no way to get control of our government through voting or any kind. You're going to have some kind of real revolution. I know that sounds crazy, but when the American dollar crashes when let's say Russia and China, India, Brazil decide to go on another dollar, besides the United States reserve currency, let's say they go on the Chinese dollar. It's over for us. Our economy craters, our dollars crater. Everyone's retirements are wiped out. Everything gets wiped out. And that's what's going to lead to a revolution. And until then, people aren't going to wake up. Even though 50% of the country can't afford a $400 emergency, 80% of people work paycheck to paycheck. Even though 50% of wage earners earn $30,000 or less, it's not enough misery to make people get in the streets and have a real revolution.
You know why? Because they're dying out, the people that are disappointed. And generation, whatever it is, alpha, they don't expect nothing. Those are the new people. So they tie you up with bullshit identity, millennials and zoomies and boomies and all that. And while everybody fights, we all die. And then the new generation doesn't believe in nothing to begin with. So you can't disappoint them.
So I thought it was an interesting tweet, Kurt. What do you make of it?
I've seen that.
VC Campbell says there's a huge network and it leads back to Satan. The Rothschilds, it is said, leave a place for Satan at the table in 1963. So the story goes, the Vatican enthroned Satan. Look at what the Vatican has become since then. The audience hall is a snake, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I mean, there's no look. If you're standing in the back and see that, it doesn't dawn on anybody that's fucking crazy. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at the googly eyes on the snake too. That's the most disturbing part.
Show this. That doesn't dawn on anybody that's a snake.
It's cartoonish how much it's a snake.
Yeah.
And you see the eyes looking at it like,
wow.
Are you guys kidding me? You literally can't see this, you fucking retards. That's what it's saying.
Okay, if you want to hear my jokes about this, come see me in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.
Well,
I know.
Look at that face.
I know.
Get Mark Passio. I'm going to have on my podcast Thursday, but Mark Passio, ex-LeVay church guy, he explains it very well. You got to think of it like in ancient times, if you knew psychology, like pickup artistry tricks when other people didn't, that's what this occult stuff is. It's psychology and neurolinguistic programming. And that backfired bigly. Everyone has to say this phrase. That's how it works. And then that way they can use something like this Rorschach test design to see how well the control is. And if you see the snake, then they don't have you. And if you don't see it, they got you.
Ha!
You get it?
Come see me on tour. I'll be in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. If you go anywhere else, you're going to pay more.